Good morning to everyone tuning in. I'm waking up here in Reading Town in England, and today I'm making my way over to Watford as part of this UK rail trip adventure. I'm on day 3 now, and if you've missed my journey so far, you can check the previous videos on my channel after this one. I'll leave the links to these in the description below as well as at the end of the video. Right now, time to find some breakfast and start the day. Let's head on a wander, shall we? This room that I stayed in last night cost me £51. Comfortable bed, nice and warm, and the shared bathrooms were clean, so my quick overnight stay was an enjoyable one. For breakfast, I found a promising cafe online that's located close to where I'm staying here in Reading West. It's called Donata Coffee & Co. And looking at reviews, they apparently serve the most amazing pastels de nata. So let's pack up and head that way now to find out if these reviews are true. Another successful stay. Now on to my next adventure. And I know it's early, but it looks like it's going to be a nice day today. Even better. This has to be my favourite time of the day. Quiet streets, nobody around, just me, myself and Irene, enjoying the peaceful sounds of a town just waking up around me. Target acquired. Let's get myself in there. So, what are my final thoughts on these? Well, the reviews are 100% accurate. These are the best Portuguese custard tarts I have ever had. And the coffee ain't half bad either. And yes, I am travelling solo, and these 4 pastries are all for me. Breakfast of champions complete. Time to make my way back into the centre of Reading Town. I spent the morning exploring Reading, and if you want more of a deep dive into the largest town in England, you can watch my 24 hours in Reading video here, or on my channel afterwards. I spent the morning getting all the content I needed for my Reading Town video, and I also had a nice bite to eat at a local cafe. Overall, it was a really fun explore. Reading is a cool town with plenty to do. And I'm really glad I made it an overnight stay instead of just a day trip. Now I need to catch my next train. When I got back to the railway station, I spotted something very unusual and rare just outside. A working payphone. You don't see many of those that aren't completely trashed nowadays. My My plan is to get back to London, navigate the underground there, and then try find my next train, which will take me up and on towards Watford. For my journey today, I'll be taking 3 trains to get myself to Watford. The first of these being on the Elizabeth line, which will bring me back to Paddington Station in London City. I'm trying to plan my train journeys on this trip around the morning and evening commuting hours, as much as I possibly can, because traversing the London Underground and rail network during these times is not a very pleasant experience. Thankfully, I will be in and then out of London again in the early afternoon, well before the weary workers of London start to make their way home. I find travelling by train in off-peak hours in any country to be a very relaxing experience. You always have a seat, you get your personal space, and you can spend your time enjoying the sights passing by outside, and really get a sense of and appreciate the places that you're travelling through. While I do film a bit, of course, when on trains and buses, I usually end up spending most of my time off the phone, no AirPods in, and I just look up and out, letting the outside scenes entertain me for most of the journeys I take. Do you do the same, or are you like my wifey Erica, 100% glued to the phone as soon as you take a seat on public transport? "45 minutes later, I'm back at Paddington, and currently following the signs to get over to the Bakerloo line. I will be travelling northbound on the Bakerloo, right to the end of the line, at Harrow and Wellstone, where I'll be picking up my final train from. Made it to Harrow and Wellstone. The last leg of the trip is a 30-minute train ride on the Lioness line. The train should be arriving into the station any moment, so I'm going to head down to the platform and wait.
This is a Lioness line train to Watford Junction.
At Watford Junction, now let's head to the hotel. And this station is a popular spot, let me tell you. This is where buses leave for the Harry Potter and Warner Brothers studio tour. Now, I'm not here for the wands and wizards. I'm here to visit Vicarage Road later on tonight, where Watford FC is playing. Less than a 10-minute walk later, here I was, outside the Southern Cross pub. It's a lovely looking building from the outside, right? When I think of an old English pub, this is the kind of place that I imagine in my mind. Like a lot of pubs in England, this looks to be owned by a chain called Green King. Checked in, I'm heading up to my room now. I'll drop off my bag, give you a quick room tour, and then I might just order something to eat downstairs, because I'm pretty hungry right now from my morning travelling across London. So here it is. I booked myself a single room tonight, and I have to say it had a pretty decent layout and was a really good size for one person. There's a sink and a mirror at the end of the bed by the window, a large desk table with tea and coffee making facilities in the middle, and I was surprised to find that I also had a shower in here, located in the corner of the room. I wasn't expecting that because when I was booking online, it said there was going to be a shared bathroom, so having the sink and shower in here was an added bonus. Even better, the shared bathroom was literally right outside my room too. You walk through one door and it's in on your right hand side. In here you have your toilet and another shower as well. The cost of the room for me tonight was £66, and overall I think that's pretty good value for what I have here. My room is at the front of the property as well, looking down on the parking lot outside. The more I explored, the more I found that this really was a lovely pub. They had lots of different seating areas around, cozy nooks and crannies found everywhere that will give people different perspectives and experiences of the place on every visit. After doing a loop of the bar area downstairs, I found a seat that I liked at a booth in a nice quiet part of the bar, grabbed the menu and had a look at what they offered in here. As I was reading through the menu, something was feeling very familiar, and then it struck me. The look of the menu, the numbers on the table, the whole vibe inside this bar with the decor, etc. I was basically sitting in a more modern Witherspoons right now. The whole business model looked to be very similar too, and this made me smile, because not only would there be decently priced food, this would also extend to the alcoholic beverages as well. So, when I ordered my food, of course, I had to order myself a pint as well. You know, just to make sure I made use of all this value and bargain prices around me. It'd be a shame not to. Alright, here is the dish I went for. And I know what this looks like, guys, but it's all in the taste, right? Definitely not eating with my eyes for this one. I ended up going for the flame grilled lamb koftas on top of a naan bread with a bed of rocket, and I chose a yogurt and mint sauce that was drizzled over the top. I decided the best way to eat this would be to wrap up the koftas inside the naan bread. And I think it was definitely the way to go, because I could taste everything in one bite. Doing this combined all the flavours and textures together so nicely. And I'll tell you something, despite the initial looks of it, it's bloody nice. The koftas themselves are really well spiced, and the quality of the lamb mince is surprisingly good too. Like the food you get in a Witherspoons, there's nothing groundbreaking here, but it was a solid 7 out of 10 for me. This would definitely be my weekend spot, for a couple of drinks while watching a game, and to enjoy some pub grub if I live locally around here. After my late lunch, I ran back up to the room and hopped in the shower to clean myself up for the evening ahead. A lovely hot shower later, I was nice and relaxed, so I leaned into that feeling and simply chilled out in the room for the next hour. Before long, it was time to get moving again and head over to Watford's football stadium. While I'm only going to show some clips here now, the full match day video will be up on my channel soon, or may even be up there now by the time you're watching this one. So check that out, because Watford Stadium is a little gem. Old school vibes throughout, and the crowd was absolutely awesome. They really have some passionate fans in this neck of the woods. I had another fantastic matchday experience here, and despite the shocking weather, the game was end to end. Really energetic play. Of course, getting to watch the local team win in the end was the icing on the cake as well. Due to the weather, I couldn't really have a proper walk all around the stadium, so I knew I'd have to take a stroll over here again tomorrow morning for another explore before grabbing my next train. On the way back to the Southern Cross pub from the game, I got absolutely drenched. So I'm back to trying to dry out my clothes this evening. Got absolutely soaked again coming back from the Watford game, so wet runners are under the radiator. Turn the radiator on here. Rain jacket, pants. My only proper pants, we'll say. I have a gym / tracksuit pants that I can wear. But yeah, these were my only proper pants. So hopefully these will be dry in the morning and we'll be ready to roll. Before I went to bed, I was feeling like another sneaky pint. So I made my way downstairs again and enjoyed a quiet one among the last couple of locals who were still there at 10:30 p.m. that night. And with that, another day of my England rail trip adventure was over. I really hope you enjoyed this one, and if you're still here, why not subscribe to join me on this latest journey? Give this video a like, and I'll catch you all on my next wander. I'm heading to bed. We'll see you in the morning.